Alright, what's up YouTube? It's Bales of Hay, coming back at you with another Borderlands 3 video. As you can tell by the title, I want to compare the plasma coil and the flipper a little bit. So, right off the bat, I can tell that the plasma coil seems to be much more damaging based on these numbers that I'm looking at. But what is important to note is that the flipper actually, once it's fired for a few seconds, will be firing 9 projectiles. So the actual, if all lands hit, top damage would be somewhere around 56,000, and the burn damage, which is incredibly unlikely that all of them burn, but if they did, it would be like just over 100k. Now this has a 13% chance, still more likely than 6 different shots proccing, but it's only 100k. So when you do the math that I just talked about, by the way, ignores this weapon damage annoyance. That is not included in what I just said. You see that the flipper at full power actually has higher damage. So what's next? Fire rate. The plasma coil has as you can tell, a much higher fire rate. But I'm not sure that's the whole story, because if we back out, there's a burst delay, and I don't know if that 14 a second factors that in. Let's assume the burst delay reduces the fire rate a little bit, makes it 12, so it shoots twice as fast. So it can effectively deal twice as much damage in the same amount of time. Okay, knowing what we know, I've taken off my Blastmaster so I don't have this +1 to redistribution. And I'm going to shoot these both at his head and see which takes longer to have to reload. Okay, the flipper effectively doesn't have to reload. While this gun will have to reload sooner than later, with only if you don't have +1 to redistribution. But I'll show you now if I just pick this up. Now, if you do have the +1 to redistribution and you land crits, neither gun has to reload ever. So the plasma coil wins again. Now, even though the flipper really looked like it had something going, the fact that the plasma coil doesn't have to reload either now, ever, means that that would have been the only balancing factor. So, with all that in mind, the plasma coil is obviously better, right? In every way. Well, the story's not that easy. Quick note, as established in a prior video, the flipper is amazing at means of destruction. But what about the plasma coil? Okay, wow. No, the plasma coil is physically incapable of proccing means of destruction. This is a massive thing. This means that Moses can't use this gun. If they're trying... Say a Moses, you're a tracker Moze with Vampire. You literally cannot sustain this weapon unless you switch off into another gun that procs means of destruction. I mean, the coil just won't. And I'm not sure why. But alright. Let's jump into the live action. Alright, jumping over to the live action section of the video. We're just going to be killing Graveward. See which gun seems quicker. Other than that, no annoyance, nothing like that. I'm not spawning an Iron Cup. Both guns will be doing their base card damage. And whatever buffs to that they get will be equal. So let's just jump right into it. And I will be using the fire element because I consider that a bonus to the flipper. It can have any element, whereas the coil is stuck, rad, and shock. Plasma coil kill. That wasn't bad. But was it insane OP broken? I just don't know. Let's jump over to some analysis.
Club represent.
So, what did we learn? Well, I think you might be surprised to find out that I did some more testing off screen, and simply put, the coil does not really kill any faster than a element matching flipper does. So if you think that the coil is insanely overpowered, then you might just also think the flipper is too. The only argument that can be made is that the flipper has a range like cutoff where literally actually the bullets won't even keep going, they just disappear. And landing all 9 shots is definitely harder than landing one. But the flipper also can miss 2 of its pellets and still deal the same amount of damage as a shot from the coil would. The only reason the coil wins is because its short fuse procs are doing more damage, but they're happening less often. So unless you get a bunch, it doesn't really kill it. It'll kill a little faster. The biggest discrepancy was like the coil killing 2 seconds faster over a Graveward kill. So the takeaway is, if you don't have the arms race and you have DLC for, just use a flipper if you're Moze, and that's gonna work for 95% of the content in the game anyway. There's gonna be certain stuff that is like that's really hard, and it's kind of hard to get the flipper to hit all 9 shots, but even still, I would have been impressed if the coil killed twice as fast, even when it wasn't element matching, but it doesn't, and that's just the numbers. So I think you can make an educated decision based on that. And thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.